What's up, YouTube? What's up, YouTube? It's your boy back with another one. People, in today's video, we want to discuss whether or not Afrikaner people are cowards. Let me know what you think about this topic in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. You know we family, right? Holla. Yep. So, people, let us, yeah, it's shade now. So I'm trying to get sun and I can't get sun in here. So anyway, let us get into this thing, right? So, are Afrikaner people cowards? This question is not easily yes or no, right? Because we have to be honest and look at it in a contextualized format, right? In a contextualized form, right? So let's look at it from their side, right? Let's look at it from their side. From their side, they're saying they can't find jobs. They're being sidelined for any type of jobs or most jobs that they qualify for. They claim they're being um, racially neglected or abused, right? Because they're suffering racism. They're also suffering from affirmative action. So let's say from, let's look at it from an Afrikaner perspective, right? Okay. So if you're an Afrikaner now and you tried by all means to get a job and you can't, you failed, you did everything in your power, you sent all your CVs, you've done everything that you humanly possibly can to get a job and you can't. What do you do? Right? What do you do? Then an offer comes from America to say you are more than welcome to come to America and try your luck to get back on your feet or to start afresh. You take it because you're desperate. Are you a coward for leaving after trying everything humanly possible from your end to try and get a job? Are you a coward? The answer is no. In that regard, you're not a coward, right? Then we look at it from another perspective. So you fail to get a job. No one wants to employ you because you're white. Okay. Do you try to start your own business? Do you try to go and partner with somebody who has a business and you offer sweat equity since you don't have financial equity to put up? Is that an option? So before you run to America, right? Are you saying to me that you have tried everything under the sun in South Africa to make it work? So you tried getting a job, you tried starting your own business, you tried helping out a buddy or a friend's uncle. You tried offline, you tried online, like content creation, like social media management, like writing, video creation, or whatever it is. that the online space is offering? Have you tried all those avenues before taking the American offer? Now, if you can say to me that you've done all the above, you've tried getting a job and you failed, you tried starting a business and you failed, you tried doing an online content creation, social media management, um, all possible online jobs, and that too failed. And your only resort now was to go to America. If you can honestly, if you can honestly say to me that you have tried all that, you've tried all that, and still nothing, then I'll say to you, by all means, you have every right to go to America and not be labeled a coward because you've tried everything under the sun, online, offline, spiritually, physically, and otherwise. Then by all means, you're not a coward. But if you tried, now let's look at the other side, right? Now let's look at the flip side. So you tried getting a job, it didn't work. You tried again, it didn't work. You tried again, it didn't work. But you didn't try your own business. You didn't try even doing online stuff like drop shipping, like writing books, like writing or managing other people's accounts, or like teaming up with content creators, or you didn't even try anything creative from a talent point of view, right? And you decide, well, I can't do A, B, C, D, E because they're too low for me. I'm not going to do A, B, C, D because those jobs are beneath me. And then you take up the American offer. Are you a coward? The answer is yes. By all means, you are a coward. Why am I saying so? People, there are many there are many opportunities in low paying jobs that are not even required for you to be employed in a company. So for example, recycling, right? So there's recycling. That's the first go-to that most black people defer to, right? Collecting cans, plastic bottles, paper, and that kind of thing, right? So you know that, and I know that, right? But if you don't know that, I'm telling you now that that is a possibility, and there are people making 20 rand, 30 rand, 50 rand, or whatever rand it is they're making per day. But they're making something per day. It may not be the be all and end all, but it certainly beats sitting at home, right? At least you're using your brain, at least you're using your muscles, at least you're not just sitting idle, letting the devil creep into your mind and using it as a playground. And now you start thinking of drugs, doing evil things. And for me, it's surprising that I see a lot of wealthy people. Well, the kids, though, I mean, if you're wealthy, you really don't need you really don't need to you don't really need to work if you don't want to because you're already wealthy, right? I remember being on a film shoot, right? On a film set, we had a film shoot, and these two these two white guys were speaking. I don't know if they were British or couldn't tell because they had the neutral accent, so they didn't have that hardcore Afrikaans accent. They had a neutral accent. So I could have just assumed they're probably the British or. But probably the Afrikaners who went to a good school and they speak good. You know what I mean? But anyway, they said, well, I came today because I had nothing to do. I mean, I lay on the beach all day, I go surfing. And I was thinking like, wow, dude, this is just this is just a sign of ultra privilege. You have people that wake up in the morning, surf all day, surfing all day, where you're not getting paid or anything. You surfing all day because that's your passion. And then you come into this movie set where you're getting paid, I don't know, 700 Rand after the tax, or you're getting paid 800 Rand after the tax or whatever it is. And that is just like like pocket money for you because you actually really don't need it. You just came because you were bored or something. Now I get it. Not everyone is that lucky to have that kind of thing, right? But that type of attitude or that type of upbringing breeds laziness because what then happens if the family's fortune gets lost? Or what happens if the family's fortune suddenly or even over time dwindles? And all you did was just surf your life away. Do you know how hard it is, how difficult it is to transition from no work to hard work? People, there are people who are living lives that either side, rich and or poor side, could never fathom, right? There are there are people that are so poor. When I say so poor, I mean people that that look for bones, right? They scrape for bones, not even cans, because like the cans market is so saturated. Almost every second homeless person is foraging for cans. So these people are opting for old dry bones to sell to some, I don't know who they sell these bones to, but I was shocked to see a family of three, a father and his two daughters, scavenging for bones. And I was just like, wow, dude. I mean, you could have taken cans, but they're saying, but he said, no, there's too many people doing cans. And when they walk miles and miles without getting maybe one, two, three. So it's really not worth their time. But with old bones, like, like chicken bones and whatever bones, it's more like they want these bones from beef, meat, stew bones. Those bones are what and it's more profitable for them than the cans, they say. I was like, wow, I've never heard of that hustle, but okay, each to his own. At least you're not just sitting around like a bum and doing nothing, you know? But like I said, each to his own, right? Now, people, if you've tried everything under the sun and nothing was for you, and you go to America, you take up Donald Trump's offer, in my view, you are not a coward because you've tried anything under the sun and it just didn't work for you, right? But if you were surfing your whole time, you surfing your whole life away, just surfing because you have this fortune, and then all of a sudden or over time, that fortune dwindles. Now you want to try to hustle and do something, but you really can't because you're not you're not of a worker type. You're more of just doing your hobby type. You can't keep a job. You're not you're not you're not the type who can follow authority because you're so used to doing your own thing. You go to America. Of course you're a coward. Of course you're a coward because the very first opportunity that comes for you to jump onto a ship to go and hopefully live off some welfare system and you can keep surfing and you go do that, then you're a coward. Of course you're a coward. But in the broader scheme of things, I really feel like The white people, the Afrikaner people we saw on the video in America, they look like people that are of working age. They are able to do things. They can work. They can. They should, and they must. And I feel like they didn't try everything that they possibly could, because I really feel like if they had gone to Orania, for example, or if they had gone to AfriForum, for example, I really feel that they would have been given some sort of platform from which they could eke a living out of. But they felt maybe it's not worth their while to do that, and they opted for the American option. That's how I feel. I could be wrong, right? But like I said, we have to look at this thing from both sides. So if you went to AfriForum and AfriForum says, people, we're going to talk to the Freedom Front Plus and solidarity and the DA, and all four of these groups don't come up with a solution to create employment for the Afrikaner people, then by all means, guys, going to America is not a cowardly act. But if you chose to forego all those viable options and channels, and you decided to opt for the American option, then by all means you are a coward, because it shows that you are afraid of hard work. You are afraid of starting from the bottom. You are afraid of scraping at the bottom of the barrel, like how most South Africans live. But because you are so used to a certain lifestyle, a certain privilege, you are not willing to scrape at the bottom of the barrel and work your way up to the top, right? Most, let's be honest, let us be honest. The majority of white people, when they leave school, they don't become cleaners, they don't become dirt pickers, they don't become sorters at a recycling plant, they don't become those low paying jobs. They don't. Even without matric, they don't start at the very bottom. They don't. That's just the honest truth. So now when you're unemployed, you don't have a job, you don't have anything, you have no choice but to hit the streets and start from there, it now becomes a problem for you. You understand what I mean? And it's sad, but that's the reality. So what do we do? At the end of the day, man, at the end of the day, it just hits you that you can no longer live the life that you used to live, that you're so used to, that now you have to now fend for yourself. And now you can't do it because people are going to laugh at you, and people are going to. Do you know, do you know how painful, hurtful, do you know how sad it is to see a white man or a white woman digging in a bin for food? I'm not white, but for some reason, it's it's painful to see such scenes, simply because I'm not used to seeing white people go through that. And I know that they who are going through it are not accustomed to that lifestyle. Nobody's accustomed to going through burns. Trust me, nobody is. Nobody. But because we are so desensitized to the fact of seeing black people and colored people scraping at the bottom of the bottomless pit, it becomes so normal that even now, if I have to lose any source of income, going to pick up cans and going to scrape in burns and looking for trash, and it's second nature now, because I've already been through it. I've already done it. Even though I didn't need to do it, I just wanted to add a second stream of income. So I started recycling on my own. So on my off days or after hours, I would go and pick up cans, look for cans, scattered in burns. I'd pay other people. I'd pay other people to collect cans for me. I'd go by the workplaces and leave a bag. Come back, the bag is full. I pay them a 20 rand for a bag, and then I go. So I used it as a business opportunity. At the same time, I'd go around collecting my own cans and get other people collecting cans for me at their workspaces. That's what I was doing. So I was getting into the game so that eventually, if ever I have to fall off, I already know how to move in that space. So I don't know, man. That's just my 2 cents on that issue. Let me know what you think about this topic, guys. Was I on the money or did I totally miss it with this one? Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. You know, we family, right? Holler.